Good Sunday evening. It is time for the Iman Report. It is Sunday. It is Sunday night, July 26th. And we are tonight previewing the qualifiers for the Stanley Cup. So we are now going to have a 24-team Stanley Cup qualifier playoffs. The top four teams in each conference will play round robin to determine the top four seedings. In the East, the top four is Boston, the Boston Bruins, Washington Capitals, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Philadelphia Flyers. In the Western Conference, your top four for the round robin are the St. Louis Blues, Colorado Avalanche, the dreaded Vegas Golden Knights. I am a Sharks fan, and I'm on the anybody but Vegas bandwagon for the playoffs, and the Dallas Stars. We're going to work our way from the east to the west on the brackets here. The Stanley Cup qualifiers are a best of 5 series, so it takes 3 games to advance to the next round. The qualifiers will start Saturday on the networks of NBC, NBCSN, USA, all that good stuff. The hubs will be in Toronto and Edmonton. And it's just going to be fun to have hockey back on, isn't it? Let's go with the first one I'm going to preview. The Pittsburgh Penguins against the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know how much the Canadiens have in the tank against the Penguins. The Penguins will probably go with Tristan Jarry. They've still got Sidney Crosby. They've still got Evgeny Malkin. And, of course, Matt Murray will probably be serving in the backup role for Tristan Jarry. As for Montreal, it's Carey Price and Carey Price. Carey Price might have to stand on his head. Carey Price could be able to steal a game. Other than that, there's just not a lot of talent around the Canadiens. I think this is going to be a quick series. I think Pittsburgh makes quick work. Pittsburgh in 3. Next one, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes against the New York Rangers. This could be a very interesting series. You've got the breadman Artemi Panarin with the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers are an up-and-coming hockey team. They've definitely got some good goaltending in Georgiev and I'm going to have to try to pronounce this. I don't know if we are going to see King Henrik in this series. And Shesterkin. And I might have butchered his name, forgive me. Shesterkin and Georgiev will likely be your 2 goaltenders in that series. And Chris Kreider, they are a good, young, up-and-coming team. They might be able to take a game or 2 away from Carolina. Carolina getting back Peter Mrazek and Mrazek and former Shark James Reimer. Those 2 will likely rotate duties at goaltending. And Reimer and Mrazek have more playoff experience in that series. But all they need to do is stop Artemi Panarin. I think certainly Carolina has the better goaltending. They've got Skinner. They've got Jordan Staal. But I think Carolina will be too much for New York. Carolina in 5. In the series after that, it will be the New York Islanders against the Florida Panthers. Florida, the advantages, they've got a Hall of Fame, they've got a Stanley Cup future Hall of Fame coach in Joel Quenneville. The big question is, will we see the good Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs? It's no secret Sergei Bobrovsky has struggled all season in Florida. As for the Islanders, they come in as a 7 seed. They were trending down before the playoffs. And the real question in this series is, can Barry Trotz rally the troops here? Goaltending is not the greatest for the unfortunately for the Islanders, they are not blessed with good goaltending in this series. It will be Sorokin and Sergei Varlamov. Varlamov not having the greatest of years either. But where the Islanders do have the advantage is scoring. Can Aho be good? Can Anders Lee be good? I think the Islanders have the speed to beat the Panthers, but I think that Florida might. I'm going to say Islanders in 4. Next up, we have the 8 and 9, the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Some way, somehow, John Tortorella always brings a competitive roster to the small market of Columbus. I think they will give Toronto a series. But the superstar but they do get Austin Matthews coming back from COVID-19. Of course, they've got John Tavares. Where the Leafs are lacking is defense. And Frederick Anderson and Michael Hutchinson be the sparks for the Maple Leafs. Can they get secondary scoring? But Toronto needs to play good defense. I don't know. If Columbus brings their A game, I think they're going to win the series. I think it will be a good 5-game series between the Leafs and the Blue Jackets, and I'm going to, in an upset, take the Columbus Blue Jackets over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I just don't think they've got the defense to stop the Blue Jackets, and of course, with John Tortorella, a very experienced playoff coach. So I want to go with Toronto. Now on to the western side. I am the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton having a good year under Dave Tippett. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are having great years playing hockey. And can they get secondary scoring from guys like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and whatnot? Can Koskinen be good in the goaltending? Can Koskinen be good? Edmonton, I think Dave Tippett's brought the best out of Edmonton. I don't expect any less. They should have no problem taking down Chicago. Of course, Chicago, you've got Jonathan Toews. You've got Corey Crawford. I don't. That's a big question mark with Corey Crawford. He's been hurt the last couple of years. Crawford's regressing big time. But you always get a fighting chance with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. But I think Chicago lacks the defense. Seabrook is regressing. Duncan Keith regressing. So Chicago's top-heavy roster, I think they get bounced in 3. I'll give them 4. I'm going to go 4. I'm going to say Edmonton takes the series in 4 in that series. Now we get Arizona and Nashville. This could be a very good series. Arizona is healthy. They've got Taylor Hall. They also got a lot of young kids. And of course, Arizona, they've got Antti Ranta at goaltender. You've got Antti Ranta at goaltender. You have Darcy Kemper. That is a really good tandem to have in the playoffs. Kemper does have a little bit of playoff experience with the Minnesota Wild. You've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Phil Kessel, some experience from Pittsburgh. I think they will give Nashville a series. A lot of question marks this year around Pekka Rinne. A lot of question marks around Juuse Saros not having the best of years either. This could be last gasp for Nashville. Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene. They do have some playoff the experience is, if they win this series, it would be on experience. But something tells me this is where I think an upset could happen. I'm going to take the Coyotes in 5. Or as Randy Hahn would say, the Desert Dogs. Now the 10 versus 7. So you got the Minnesota Wild against the Vancouver Canucks. Did somebody say Vancouver? Minnesota, a team that should be rebuilding, but the GM won't. Devin Dubnyk, another goaltender who's had some regression this year. Alex Stalock, who's had a better season this year with the Minnesota Wild. The Wild does have some. If there's one thing that could help the Wild in the qualifier, is the fact they have playoff experience. Zach Parise, Matthew Dumba, Matt Zuccarello, Eric Stahl, Ryan Suter, Jared Spurgeon. Whereas Vancouver, they've got Jacob Markstrom. Markstrom is a really good, underrated goaltender for Vancouver. But the rest of the Canucks roster is very inexperienced. It's very young. They do have Tyler Toffoli, JT Miller, Antoine Roussel. And this is one where I kind of think maybe another upset could happen. I think the experience of Minnesota could bounce Vancouver in 5 games. So I'm going to take Minnesota in an upset over the Vancouver Canucks. Now on to the final one. This is the battle of the 2 good Canadian teams. You've got the Winnipeg Jets against the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg, this is a team that has, I think, the more experience. This is another one where I think experience will win the series. Connor Hellebuyck will always give you a fighting chance at goaltender. Unlike Calgary has Mike Smith. Cam Talbot and Mike David Riddich. Okay. I forgot Mike Smith went to. Forgive me, Mike Smith went to Edmonton. But you got Talbot as your goaltender, not necessarily good. But you do have David Riddich. You have John Gillies. So can they Cam Ward this bitch? That's the question. I don't know, but you've got Vancouver. I mean, not Vancouver. What am I? Winnipeg, who's definitely has some playoff experience. They might not have Byfuglien anymore, but you do have some more. But you do have a experienced playoff group with Patrick Laine and Connor Hellebuyck could always save a game for you. Nikolai Ehlers. I think Edmonton has the speed advantage, and that's where I think Winnipeg will have the speed to beat Calgary. I'm going to go with Winnipeg in 4. So I think the West, you're going to see upsets on the western half of the bracket this year. The East, it might almost be chalk for the most part, except one series. It's hockey time. Another reason to stay home. Let's get the COVID spread down. Watch hockey. Stay home. Save lives by watching hockey and staying home. Good night.